Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. So we had the teaser just uploaded for the crossover coming in the end of November. It is going to be with Delicious and Dungeon. This is a short teaser video, but there's quite a lot of information to break down. So let's go ahead and watch it. Okay, so there we have it. November 28th is going to be the date of the launch of this crossover. And the two characters which are going to be coming, which are the protagonists of this IP, they are Laios, which is going to be sort of a warrior type, and then also a Marcille, who is I believe sort of like a mage. Now, the thing is about these two characters, we actually have seen them in AFK Arena, and I'm gonna go through their skill description. But the interesting thing is they're actually meta for even boss content in AFK Arena. So that's kind of interesting. Maybe gonna be a preview of what their relevancy will be in AFK Journey as well. So the whole idea behind, I believe, this franchise is, I haven't ever watched this or heard about this before, but I think they turn these dungeon monsters into food. And then somehow that food is going to power them up. And in AFK Arena, the character Laios, who is a warrior type, he had buffs for his allies and buffs for himself as well. And like buffers always can be really exciting in AFK Journey because that can power them up, power up your whole team even further to deal even more damage. For example, even in boss content. But we'll go down and do a breakdown of their skills in AFK Arena. But first, I want to show you what we have here. So we know Marcille is going to be the S level. There's going to be the S level Marcille. She's called the Elven Mage, so almost definitely she is going to be of the Mage class, and she is going to be a Dimensional Faction hero, as are all of these crossover heroes. When we take a look at some of her skill preview right here, let's take a look at this. So she's channeling a ball of energy. And that is it. So we have very limited information from that preview. And then we have Laios, who is going to be an A level. So the A level of the crossover, it usually always is like that. And I'm hoping that they're going to give, like for the Fairy Tail collab we had crossover, they gave Lucy up to Mythic Plus for free just by completing the crossover events. I'm hoping they do the same here, and we'll be able to get maybe Laios to Mythic Plus for free, because I do suspect maybe Laios to be maybe the more meta one if they do follow AFK Arena. Okay, but let's go ahead and take a look at his ability. So both of these look like their ultimate animation. So he's going to channel some energy, and that is going to look, he's going to summon a tank on the field who is probably going to tank damage for your whole team. So this looks really cool. I mean, this is like a cool sort of tiger-faced warrior, golden statue tanking for your team. That looks epic. Yeah, so if I had to say which one I'm more excited for, I am more excited for Laios compared to Marcille, but now we're going to go through the AFK Arena skills, so let's go ahead and jump to that. Okay, so we have Laios in AFK Arena, Monster Enthusiast. He is a warrior class and dimensional hero, which definitely could also be for AFK Journey. Either warrior or tank, I think, would be suiting him. So here are his basic abilities. So his ultimate, or this is his first skill actually, Monster Cuisine, a passive at the start of the battle. Sushi sets up a pot of food to cook at the edge of the battle field, and every 8 seconds, Senshi completes a meal and distributes it to allied heroes, restoring health, and then also, when they consume a meal, boosting their attack. Obviously, these numbers, these are AFK Arena numbers, so we're just getting an idea of what potentially his abilities could be. Restoring health, attack buff for allies, maybe even some energy recovery for allies, which seems very interesting, right? As an ability, like that could definitely have some use in a team. On top of that, some other abilities that he has in AFK Arena, local ingredients. While Laios survives, the battlefield will be infested with monsters. Periodically, Dref slime, so he actually summons these monsters on the battlefield. They will taunt nearby enemies and leave behind meal ingredients after being killed. So this is the whole idea. The franchise of this Delicious in Dungeon is they turn these monsters into food, ingredients to be cooked and make delicious meals. When Senshi gathers these ingredients, he adds them to his pot. His next meal will boost the vitality of allied heroes and other things. Also crit rating, crit damage. Reduce damage taken, haste, so all these buffs. So as you see, buffers always are exciting to me for AFK Journey because that can change the meta. A really powerful buffer can be exactly what you need for Dream Realm, for example. That's one of the reasons Damon is really good, because he gives a big attack buff to his ally, as well as he can deal some damage in Endless. And Ravion as well, he's a major buffer. Then we have Monster Analysis. When using his ultimate to intimidate enemies, Laios will also analyze enemies in front. So this is the interesting thing, using his ultimate to intimidate enemies. And we just saw in AFK Journey when the crossover comes, he summons that huge tank warrior who's probably going to defend your team, and also it does intimidate the enemies. Like that's a beast of a person which is summoned onto the field, and it applies. So anyway, this monster analysis is when you cast the ultimate. Laios will also analyze enemies, applying 1 stack of analysis onto the enemy, and then each stack will reduce the damage enemy deals. So basically, he's going to be tankier, causing the enemy to deal less damage to him, which doesn't really matter for boss content. That's more of like PvP oriented stuff. And each stack of analysis also increases the damage dealt to the enemy hero by 8%. Now this is interesting, right? Especially if we could get a skill like this to boost the damage taken received by the target who is affected by this analysis. That is massive. Like, you know, that's basically Rainier, Thorin. They have the Soul Plunder debuff of Thorin. The Rainier, you know, his Mythic Plus, causing the boss to take bonus damage. Like, if you could get another hero to do that, especially like a more free-to-play option in a collab hero, that could be really cool. And then we have the ultimate Houndstooth. So here, Laios mimics a dog stance, frightening enemies in front of him and immobilizing them. So like he basically completely stuns and intimidates the enemies with his ultimate. Now in AFK Journey, we've seen that he summons a warrior rather than doing it himself, but it could be a similar type of effect. The stance will last for a certain amount of time. Laios cannot perform an action during that period, and for the duration, Laios is immune to crowd control, takes 60% less damage, that's massive damage reduction, and gets 60 points of buffer. I don't know what buffer is. In AFK Journey, we don't have buffer, but also, look at this, boosting attack rating. So this is if Marcille is on the team. So this is the other thing. Usually, collab heroes can do even better when they're together. It was even the same thing with Natsu and Lucy, however, it was a very minor effect or minor bonus that didn't really warrant running both on the same team. But basically, look at this, boost the attack rating of Marcille when Laios' ultimate is cast. So that is definitely interesting. Okay, so we're not going to go through the signature items and everything else. This is just basically to give you a preview of what we could expect with these heroes when they come to AFK Journey. So for Marcille, she is a mage, dimensional mage hero in AFK Arena, and I'm sure she would be the same in AFK Journey. So in these other abilities, so the first skill is textbook magic. At the start of battle, Marcille has 100 Arcana and can have up to maximum of 100. When Marcille uses a normal attack, if she has sufficient Arcana, 20 Arcana will be consumed to deal AoE damage to equal to her attack rating. So AoE damage. However, for boss content, AoE damage usually isn't the best. So that's one thing to keep in mind, especially mages. Usually mages are not good for Dream Realm. Like, Shamira is really the exception to it all, and who knows about Mihira because she has HP loss damage, but generally speaking, mages are a PvP or AFK stage oriented class. And there's just raw damage from this. So raw damage from Marcille is not really exciting because like for AFK stages, that's not going to be enough. You would want crowd control. And for PvP, I don't know. They're just like, you know, mages. There's so many mages and you kind of want some unique abilities other than just raw damage in order to be good for PvP. So when enemies are nearby, Marcille will use a magical flash to stun nearby enemies. So some crowd control, that can be good. And the effect can be triggered once every 15 seconds. So yeah, definitely she has some stunning abilities that could make her good for AFK stages. Using a magical flash grants Marcille 50 additional points of insight and provides points of magic pierce and other things basically. So stun duration and some damage. Now second skill, rewrite. Passive, when Marcille survives, most enemy summon will be affected by the rewrite effect. Enemy summons. Summons with rewrite and nearby enemies will take damage equal to 180% of, so again, more damage onto enemies. However, is not looking like much utility for the team as of right now. It's just raw damage. She's just having raw damage from everything here. Normal attacks prioritize target enemies with black magic marks. Normal attacks remove the black magic marks. And each stack increases the damage dealt by 60%. However, the thing about this is I don't know if, I believe this is only her own damage. It's amplifying her own damage onto the enemy target rather than the whole team target to team damage. The damage dealt when removing each mark is increased to 80%. Summons affected by rewrite restore Marcille's Arcana. So there could be another sort of like energy type system. Right now, of course, we only have energy in AFK Journey. I don't know if they're going to add any other like sort of energy bar type mechanic being Arcana. But basically that is what we have here for Marcille as of right now. And then summon Familiars, summons 3 Familiars, so she's a summoner as well. Familiars will land near the enemy that deals the most damage and is affected by rewrite. Enemy heroes near Familiar will take 40% more damage from Marcille. So again, it's boosting her own damage, right, onto the target, which, I mean, this can be good if her damage is really high, but she seems like an AoE damage dealer and stunner. I mean, there could be, if she has skills like this, it could be an AFK stage type angle, which is stunning and just raw damage, and then also the summons to distract the enemy. But basically, for boss content, damage taken by enemy heroes near Familiars increased to 50%. But this is from Marcille herself, right? That is going to be the thing. So that is basically the thing. I think for Dream Realm boss content, if Laios has enough impactful buffs, I could definitely see Laios potentially having some boss meta usage. And in AFK Arena, it's kind of the same. Laios is a meta hero for bosses, whereas Marcille is not necessarily as meta as Laios. Like, for example, from what I've seen and research, is that Laios is like much more frequently used, and Marcille can be used together with Laios, and they have some synergy, and it can be good, or it can just be run Laios without Marcille basically. But Marcille alone is usually not used for boss content. Yeah. So then you have her ultimate, the Sky Fish, to launch 3 rapid attacks on enemies. Now, we didn't see any animation of this in the preview teaser. We just had basically her channeling that ball of light, and then nothing happened out of it. But she summons a Sky Fish, and I think they would have shown this if this is actually going to be her ultimate AFK journey, because this would have been really cool, like it looked like a cool animation. With each attack dealing damage equal to 390% of Marcille's attack rating. But I mean, if Laios summons that Beast Warrior, I could definitely see Marcille also summoning something like a Sky Fish. This skill reduces defense rating. Okay, so then defense rating reduction, that's some utility for the whole team, because then your whole team is going to deal a bit of bonus damage onto the target. And the fish will transform into meal ingredients after crashing to the ground. When it's cooked, it will grant allied heroes 60 points of dodge if Laios is on the team, so you have this synergy. But, I mean, dodge is not really good for Dream Realm. This is like a PvP or maybe even AFK stage-oriented thing. But, anyway, this was just to give you a preview of what we have from AFK Arena skills and kind of our speculation of what we could potentially get of these 2 heroes when they come to AFK Journey. But overall, I mean, I didn't know anything about this franchise. Maybe I'll watch a bit of it or do a bit of research about it, but I am more excited about Laios. I'm definitely more excited about Laios, and it is kind of funny because if we look back to the Fairy Tail collab, the A-level hero Lucy was way more meta than the S-level Natsu, right? And so are they going to be repeating that trend, making the A-level meta and the S-level just like kind of a luxury unit? They very well could. But Laios is someone who I think it could be pretty cool if he has these buffing-oriented skills and, you know, that damage reduction and things. Yeah, so overall, I'm just more looking forward to Laios compared to Marcille, but we'll have to wait and see. And obviously, this is just like pure speculation. The skills in AFK Journey could be completely different. This is just to give you a taste, basically. So let me know what you think about these 2 heroes. What do you suspect for their abilities? Do you have any speculations of your own? Which one are you the more excited for? Are you excited for both? Have you ever followed this IP? Have you ever watched? I mean, I'm assuming it has an anime like series, but I don't know if it's just manga or something. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. That is going to be it for this one. If you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Farlight store. There is a link to that in the description of this video and a pinned comment. This is the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video. And until then, everyone, peace out for now.